From Seminole Hard Rock in Hollywood, Florida, this is Poker Night in America. Hello and welcome to another special episode of Poker Night in America. I'm your host, Chris Hansen. Well, this is it. We are down to the final 5 players of the Seminole Hard Rock Poker Open Championship. Whoever takes home first place tonight will go home with over $1 million. The pressure and the fatigue at this point in the tournament must be staggering for these players. Now, keep in mind, this is the Big Four, so we've got 4 final tables running simultaneously. And we are going to be featuring this one, the $5 million guaranteed Seminole Hard Rock Poker Open Championship. 907 players entered this event with a $52.50 buy-in, but only a fraction of those are still left today. In fact, you can count the number of players who made it to the final table on 2 hands. And we watched 4 of them bust out in the last episode. So now, like I said earlier, we're down to 5 guys with their eyes on the prize of $1 million for a first place win. What about those other tournaments, you ask? Well, we've got 3 other featured events from the Seminole Hard Rock Poker Open that have come to a head here and now. The $1,100 buy-in seems to be moving the fastest today. We started all 4 final tables at the exact same time, so we're heads up in the $1,100. Over at the $26.50 buy-in final table, we are 4-handed. And in the high roller event, during our last episode, only 1 player was knocked out. The next player to bust out will almost triple their investment. And what's this? I'm being told we have an all-in right now. All right, we're going down to the table in the eye of the hurricane to Phil Hellmuth. Phil, what's going on?
Ian has pocket aces. Phil Lock has king, queen offsuit. The math on this, I think it's 7 to 1. King, queen against 2 aces. Give us a flop. 10, 7, deuce. Pretty good flop for Ian. He's looking good. Give us a card. Phil Lock turns a king. Now he has hope. He needs a king. There's 2 kings. He needs a queen. There's 3 queens. He has 5 outs. Ian has 39 outs. Last card, please. Phil Lock's going to finish in 8th place.
Phil Lock will be knocked out of the high roller event. His chips are going to Ian O'Hara. And as we go back to the $52.50, $5 million guaranteed final table, Randy Pfeiffer is raised with King 9. And while Dan Coleman thinks over Jack 8, let's check out our latest chip count. Dan Coleman, your chip leader, by about $1 million over Omar Zaze. And Randy Pfeiffer currently sits on the short stack. Coleman's pumping it up to 530. $1 million for our champion here tonight at the $5,000 buy-in of the Seminole Hard Rock Poker Open Championship. Dan Coleman trying to win this event 2 years in a row. Literally the only thing I've done 2 years in a row is have a birthday. And Dan's trying to take this thing down for the 2nd time in 2 years. Pfeiffer hits his king on the flop. I have a feeling that Coleman is going to bet to represent having that ace. And here comes the continuation bet. It's $325. Pfeiffer makes the call. Pot is approaching $2 million in chips. Here's the true test. If Coleman bets here again, which it looks like he's getting ready to, he has now turned his bluff into a semi-bluff, as he did pick up the flush draw. It's $750,000. $750,000. And so Pfeiffer now trying to decipher. That's right, Phil. I can do a bit of rapping as well. Are these just 2 continuation bets, or does he have it?
You are a man. Nice hand.
And right now, indeed, Dan Coleman is a man who has the chip lead here at this final table.
I had the same hand as the hand I've lost all my chips with today, King 9.
Yeah, that's true.
I lost to him. I lost
Randy
to you.
Pfeiffer has lost over $5 million in chips with his starting hand that has included a king. He started this final table as our chip leader. Kings are not the thing for Randy Pfeiffer today.
I'm sure my buddies will be Ass, you fold it again?
Randy, you have nothing to worry about, man. You just tell your friends, when's the last time you played for $1 million on Poker Night in America? For more from Poker Night, visit pokernight.com or find us on Twitch, Facebook, Twitter, or YouTube, where you can see complete episodes and unedited live streams. Welcome back to Poker Night in America. We get back to the tournament action tonight at the Big Four.
I'm getting all these medium hands, like garbage hands, but it's just five-handed, and I haven't had a pair bigger than nines at all. I've had ace king once. I haven't had ace queen at all yet. Yeah. All the medium, queen jack, king queen, king 10, king 9 a lot.
It's funny too, like the time to hit your card rush isn't 10-handed, 12-handed, it's at the final table. You know?
Yeah, exactly.
It's all for nothing if not.
You got to play with the hands you're dealt, and for Randy Pfeiffer, king 9, the hand he's been dealt and playing with has not been working out for him. Blinds are 60 and 120K with a $20,000 ante. Zaze is going to raise it up. The Texan playing here in Florida has ace king and he makes it 265. Randy Pfeiffer in the 1 seat after giving away chips to Dan Coleman.
All in.
He's now all in with ace queen suited. Pfeiffer had said starting this hand that he hadn't seen ace queen all day. He gets it and runs into a cooler, Zaze having ace king.
I fold.
You get a rough count, please.
2 million. 2,080,000.
Come on, Omar, it doesn't matter what he has. You know you're calling with ace king. Here we go.
Called.
And Pfeiffer is at risk.
Randy's all in with ace queen of diamonds. Omar has him covered, and Omar has the best hand. Give us a flop. Omar's a 2.5 to 1 favorite. 9, 4, deuce. It's a really good flop for Omar. Give us a card dealer.
Only one diamond there and a 9-high flop.
It's the 6 of hearts, and now Omar has to dodge a queen. There's 3 queens left in the deck, which means he has 41 wins. Randy has 3 wins. Last card.
River's a blank, and that's
jack.
going to do it for Randy Pfeiffer. So Randy Pfeiffer finally got an ace queen, and look at that. If he had been playing king 9 at that time, he would have turned out to be a winner. That's the way it goes, and it is definitely not the last time we're going to see Randy Pfeiffer at a big tournament final table. Now 4-handed. Here's what we have for chip count. Omar Zaze, your new chip leader with 8.2 million in chips. Dan Coleman, though, right behind him with 7.9 million. Fourth place pays 220,000, and then you have a 90,000 jump up to third place for $310,000.
How much is that?
What's that? How much I have?
No.
I'm going to Minneapolis for
How much is the bet?
How much is the bet?
Coleman raises to 300,000.
I think I'm going to move to that seat over there so that everybody's on my right. Right?
I don't know. I think cut the table.
It's a joke. I just feel like everybody's on my left even though we're in a circle.
Ruben versus David.
Sounds like there's some action over at the $1,100 table. They are heads up for that championship. Let's go over to Phil Hellmuth.
Ruben has the best hand and the chip lead. If he wins this, he wins this trophy and the title and the cash. Ace-8 for Ruben against King-5 for David. Ruben is a 2 to 1 favorite to just win this title right here, right now. Give us a flop.
All right, we're doing 2 at once. 2 flops coming at you on Poker Night in America.
3-4 jack. It's a pretty good flop for Ruben.
Flop doesn't help anyone here at the $5,250
It's a
entry.
5, not so good for Ruben. David now has a pair of 5s. Ruben can win this pot with a deuce. There's 4 deuces. He would make a straight. There's 3 8s and there's 3 aces. 10 outs to win the title. 34 outs for David to take a massive chip lead. Give us the last card.
Coleman bets 450.
It's a 6, and the King-5 is going to hold up. David's going to take a massive chip lead in this.
And Coleman will get no action. Thank you very much for keeping us updated on the $1,100 tournament, Phil. And this seems like as good a spot as any to recap the action in the $1,100 buy-in. 794 players bought into the $1,100 event that had $500,000 guaranteed. And first place prize money, $146,000. This was the fastest moving of all 4 final tables that got started at the same time. And every player that got eliminated, they got closer to the big money at the top. And right now it's Ace-Jack versus Ace-Queen for David Eldridge to close this event out.
Ruben with Ace-Queen against David's Ace-Jack. 10-7-5. Good flop for Ruben. Give us a card. It's the 10 of clubs, and David picks up the nut flush draw. Ruben, you're still 3-1 favorite going to the river. Wow, it's a queen of clubs, and Ruben is going to lose this pot. He hits queens on the river, but David makes the nut flush to win the title, the cash, and the girl.
So indeed, David Eldridge scoops up the $146,000 with the win, and he's the first champion of the Big Four. 3 more tables to go. We'll get back to the poker and the Seminole Hard Rock Poker Open Championship when we come back. Welcome back to Poker Night in America. Here's our updated chip counts. Omar Zaze with 8.9 million in chips. Brian Phillis right there with 7.6. Dan Coleman, who was chip leader for a good portion of this final table, has dropped down to third at 7.4. And the short stack, Larry Mocha with 3.2 million in chips. Well, Phillis will start this hand under the gun. Phillis folds over to the short stack. Jack-9 on the button. Fold, fold, fold. This is where you should fold. Except he raises to 250. When you're the short stack, you got to be careful with every raise you put into the middle. But he still has one of those stacks that, you know what, if he gets doubled up, it's going to hurt, that's for sure, from the other player. And Zaze calls with the suited king. Straight draw for Mocha, pair of kings for Zaze, and they're both checking. Zaze's first, and he fires 300,000. Mocha calls. Mocha hits his 9 on the river, and it is maybe the worst thing to happen to him because he moves all in for 2.635 million.
What you got, buddy? You got a good hand?
A little something.
A little something?
Zaze playing very deliberately here at this final table. As we said earlier, the stack that Mocha has, it's enough to get somebody to fold, but it's right on that line of getting somebody to call as well. And if Zaze just thinks he's getting the right price here to make this call, he's going to be a winner.
Call.
Ooh, he called.
Zaze makes the call, and Mocha knows he's beat.
It's been a call.
Hats off to Larry. $140 step satellite got him into this $5,200 event.
That's all
and
you.
He is going to be leaving in
That's all
fourth
you.
place with
That's all you.
220K.
2% for the win.
That's all you, bro.
Good call, buddy.
I had info. Larry, good job, man. I couldn't fold top pair, buddy.
Yeah, I know. Of course not. Of course not.
All right, so now we're three-handed. Third place in this event is $310,000. Phyllis with suited ace makes it 260. And a call from Zaze. So we're heads up with Zaze and Phyllis. Here's the flop. It's 10 high. Gut shot straight draw for Zaze. And Phyllis has top pair, top kicker. Call from Zaze. And now an open-ended straight draw for Zaze. He's going to get a free river card as Phyllis checks as well. He doesn't get there. So Phyllis and his pair of tens is the winner. Unless he folds, Zaze will be first to act. Half pot size bet from Zaze of $525,000. Phyllis calls. Phyllis wins. Zaze, interesting there, showed his cards to Phyllis, showing him, I'm capable of bluffing at this, even if I have absolutely nothing. A lot more great tournament action here at the Big Four when we come back on Poker Night in America.
He's the weirdest guy in the world. So weird.
Omar Zaze is our chip leader, but it's pretty tight between second and third place with Brian Phyllis and Dan Coleman. Again, Dan Coleman trying to win this event 2 years in a row. 350 from Coleman with Jack 10 of hearts. Phyllis has pocket fours. Again, for Brian Phyllis, his biggest ever live cash was $6,000, just slightly more than the buy-in to this tournament at Seminole Hard Rock. And here comes a raise from Phyllis up to $900,000. Call from Dan. Coleman makes two pair on the flop. Phyllis betting into a monster at $725K. And if you're Omar Zaze, you're loving this action, just hoping one of the two players is going to eliminate the other, because you'll automatically bump up from winning $310,000 up to at least $575,000 for second place.
And Coleman calls.
Coleman lets Phyllis swim away with a little bit more line. Turn is an 8. Brian Phyllis checks to Dan Coleman.
Was Jason wrong once?
Oh, hey, wait a second. I forgot. Phil Hellmuth is joining us again today.
You were wrong, in other words.
All right, Phil, what are you up to now?
He manned up. Well done, Jason. That's a test for you. When you're wrong as often as I am, you just learn to say, yeah, I was wrong. But you're just not used to it.
Phil, leave Mercier alone. He's trying to concentrate. Now, keep in mind, there are two other tables that are going on at the exact same time as this one. Just over $1.3 million, the bet from Coleman. And that should be it for Phyllis. And it is as he
Brian
folds.
Dan Coleman's going to win the pot.
And speaking of those two other tables that are going on, let's check out the $25,000 high roller event for a bit. It looks like they're five-handed currently. But look at this. The 2650 is heads up. All right. We're whittling it down. What a fancy coincidence. Not related to editing or anything like that. We have an all-in. All right, let's see how this pans out.
Here we go. Fabrizio, he has a chance to win the tournament right here, right now. It's a flip. Fours for Fabrizio. 7-8 for Danny Fuse. Give us flop. 7-8 Jack. Danny's flop two pair. Give us a card. It's a 6. Fabrizio needs a 5. There's 4 5s in the deck. He needs a 4. There's 2 of those. He has 6 outs to win the title. Danny has 38 outs to continue the fight. Give us a card. It's a 5. And Fabrizio's going to win the tournament. He's made an 8-high straight.
So there we go. It's our second champion from the Big Four in Fabrizio Gonzalez, taking home $236,000. But what about the rest of the players that made the final table of the 2650 event, you ask? Well, here's a little story about the 2650. This was a $1 million guaranteed event They had 502 players for a $1.2 million prize pool. Final table payouts ranged from $23,000 for ninth place all the way up to Fabrizio Gonzalez beating out Daniel Fuse for the top prize of $236,000. All of those players are currently being paid out, and now it's time to go back to the $5 million guaranteed final table, where it looks like we've done some coloring up. So we have some plaques on the table now. Each one of those is worth $500,000. Blinds are 75 and 150K with a 25,000 chip ante. New chips on the table, same Dan Coleman betting on the button makes it 350,000 with suited ace 4. Phyllis calls the raise with king 6. And that's kind of a good flop for Phyllis. Dan Coleman has none of that flop, but Phyllis checks, and you know that Coleman's going to continuation. And that's exactly what he did, 400,000. Phyllis calls, so here's the turn.
6-6, 2 hearts.
Now Coleman picks up a flush draw.
Turn is ace of diamonds.
Both players will check. Oh, wow.
Check, check.
A 10 of diamonds on the river gives Coleman his flush.
10-10, 6-6.
So the board pairing again gives Phyllis the full house. But you know Coleman's going to want to try to put some more money in here. $875.
Flush.
And Phyllis was just forced to call instead of coming back over the top just in case Coleman had a 10 in his hand. And I think Dan Coleman got away from that about as cheap as he could.
Dan Coleman made a flush, and Brian Phyllis made a full house. And in this country, a full house beats a flush. Actually, in every country, that's true. But it used to be in Canada that a straight beat a flush. Did you know that? It's harder to make a straight than a flush, so the Canadians have some good logic there.
Zaze just sitting back wondering, why won't one of these two just please take out the other? They've been involved in so many hands, but both of them playing very carefully. Zaze not going to sit this one out. He raises with ace 5. Phyllis folds, so it's over to Coleman. He calls. And that's 2 pair for Coleman. Nothing for Zaze. $500,000 the bet.
All in.
Call.
All in from Zaze and a quick call from Coleman.
Big hand here. Dan has queens and 8s. The board is queen, 8, 6. Brian Phyllis moved all in bluffing with ace 5 offsuit.
Not this guy. This guy.
Oh, sorry. Omar moved all in bluffing with ace 5 offsuit. Sorry, let me get it right.
Come on, Phil, if you're going to step on my lines, you can at least bother to get them right.
All right. However, if you had to have a dry ace high, at least he has backdoor spades and a backdoor straight. Give us a card. Big pot here. It's a 10, and Dan doesn't even have to worry about the river. He's going to get the double up.
That's where Dan Coleman with that just continuous betting added up now to get him paid here at this spot.
3.5, 4.
And Brian Phyllis is not pleased with that result. Probably thinking, Zaze, why did you do that? You had ace high. More poker action from South Florida when we come back to the Big Four on Poker Night in America. During the break, a couple of players were knocked out at the high roller final table, so let's recap all of this. We're back at the Big Four with 3 players at each of the 2 remaining final tables And I am one lucky guy to have a script writing intern who feeds me this gold. You see what they did there? 4, 3, 2, 1. Clever, aren't they? Anyway, let's get back to the Seminole Hard Rock Poker Open Championship, which happens to be one of the 2 final tables with 3 players left at the Big Four. Oh my, here we go.
Sorry. Yeah.
I mean, really, could we just pay somebody to write scripts instead of having the interns do it? There's got to be somebody who could do it. Of course, I don't want to do it, but somebody could do it for me. Blinds are 75 and 150K with a 25,000 chip ante. 350 the bet from Zaze. 5-7 for Coleman. As Dan Coleman has been doing this entire final table, he keeps the pressure on, raising it to 1.1 million. And here comes another raise.
What you started him with?
Zaze now bringing it up to 1.875 million. All of these players are basically within one raised pot of each other. Roughly 3 million chips separating first from third. And that bet is enough to get rid of Dan Coleman. On the button with jacks, Coleman makes it 325. 907 entries into this event at $5,250 entry. Brian Phyllis from Pompano Beach, Florida, calls out of the big blind. And that is about the most perfect flop you can get if you're Brian Phyllis. He flops the straight. Coleman hits a set on the flop. And when you're in Florida, the fireworks look even bigger, and we're going to sit back and watch them go. As Coleman bets just over $500,000. Phyllis comes back over the top to 2.5 million. This will probably be the make or break hand for both of these players at this final table.
I'm all in.
And there we go. We knew it was going to happen with that kind of flop.
Call.
Brian's
Yep,
call.
0.9.
Whoever wins this pot will be the new chip leader and will be in a great position to go heads up for the $1 million first place prize.
This may well be a $20 million pot.
We talked about this before. Get it right, Phil. It's 16.95 million chips.
Right now, Dan needs a king, a jack, or a 10.
Coleman's already packing up.
He's around a 2-to-1 underdog.
Don't forget your Swiffer wet jet. That's under the table as well. Make sure you check under the broiler pan. See if there's anything in there.
Now, queen in the river would be a tie. But basically, Dan needs a jack. There's one jack. Dan needs a 10. There's 3 of those, 3 kings, 3 aces. Dan has 10 outs. Brian has 34 outs going into the river. And there's 3 tie cards. Last card.
Deuce.
River is a deuce. And Brian Phyllis is going to eliminate Dan Coleman. And there's much jubilation here at the Seminole Hard Rock Poker Open.
Sick cooler, bro.
And Dan Coleman will not go back-to-back. After winning this event last year, he will go out in 3rd place this year.
Round of applause for one of the best players in the world right now, Dan Coleman. Let's have a round of applause. He played great again.
What is going on here? All this excitement of Dan Coleman being eliminated, it looks like we're heads up at the high roller and we've got an all-in.
Jason Mercier has jacks. Ian has ace-king. If Jason's jacks holds up, he wins the tournament.
Well, jacks didn't work out well for Dan Coleman at the $5,250
Right
entry.
now, Jason's about almost a 13-10 favorite. Give us a flop. There's a jack in the door. Jason's flopped a set.
Oh, everybody has a set
Ian
of
has flopped
jacks.
a king. It's king, jack.
I haven't seen
deuce.
this many
Give us a
jacks
card.
since I went to the Jack convention.
It's over. The 4 on the turn. It's over. Jason Mercier is your champion. Well done, Jason. Congrats, brother.
And Jacks didn't work out well for Dan Coleman, but it wins the event for Jason Mercier here at the High Roller final table.
Jason the luck box. Mercier.
The $25,000 no-limit high roller event had 83 participants. And when you look at a list of the players that were in this event, this is a tough field to get through. 11 players made money in this event, everyone else falling short. And in the end, we were heads up with Ian O'Hara and Jason Mercier. And as Phil Hellmuth said, Jason Mercier luck boxed his way into $652,000. And for O'Hara, it was $391,000 for a second place effort. When we come back to Seminole Hard Rock, more of the Poker Open Championship, where we're heads up with Omar Zaze and Brian Phillis, the last of the 4 final tables here at the Big Four.
Okay, mano y mano for $1 million. Gentlemen, it's time to take the stage.
Closed captioning is brought to you as a public service by Poker Night in America. Thanks for coming back to Seminole Hard Rock in Hollywood, Florida. Let's get back to the Big Four. In this heads-up battle, it is Omar Zaze who has a lot of work to do. He's at 6.1 million in chips. That's 31 big blinds. And Brian Phillis sitting on a stack of 21 million chips. And now Phillis with kings coming out of the small blind. He makes it $500,000 and call from Zaze. And trip 8s for Zaze. All right, now we can see some action. 500,000 the initial bet, but now raised up to 1.2 million.
All in. Call.
Phillis moves all in, and Omar quickly calls. So Zaze in a great spot here to double up.
King or a
I really had a feeling you had it too. I'm like, oh, what the fuck am I gonna do, you know?
Brian needs a king.
Oh, wow, the turn is another 10.
It's a really card because he can win with a 10 or a king. He has 2 10s, 2 kings. Omar, you have 40 cards you can win with. Last card, please.
And the river is a jack, and Zaze is going to double up.
To quote Eminem, Omar's back. Back again. Omar's back. Tell a friend. Omar's back. Omar's back. Omar's back. Da 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 da. That's Eminem. I worked on that one too.
That's Sam, buddy.
Thanks, bro.
Guess who's back? Back again. Shady's back. Tell a friend. Yeah, that is Eminem. Tell a friend. Zaze is back. So Zaze doubles up, and just like that, we've got a brand new ball game. Raised to $500,000. And a call from Zaze. Second place, $575,000. The winner tonight walks away with $1 million. Check, check the flop.
6 reduced. Check, check.
Here comes Zaze firing $500,000. Phillis raises to $1 million and a call from Zaze.
$500.
500,000, the bet from Phillis.
Omar checks. Brian bets 500. Omar calls.
Phillis caught hand firmly in cookie jar there, and with that, a little over $4 million in chips, and the chip lead now goes to Zaze.
Let's call.
At one point, Brian Phillis had almost a 4-1 chip lead, and now he finds himself sliding in the wrong direction. He's got 11 million in chips, and Omar Zaze with just over 16 million.
Still pretty close though.
Ace Queen goes to 500,000, and another ace in Phillis's hand. Aces are a big commodity when you're heads up.
$3 million.
We're going back and forth. Phillis raises it to 1.5 million. Zaze then makes it 3 million. And there is a fold.
Brian lays it down.
And Zaze right now is playing with the confidence and he's playing with the chip lead. His entire body language has changed. His style of play seems to have changed as well, where he is now pushing the action, and it's working for him.
1.2.
400 from Zaze and a raise to 1.2 million from Phyllis. This $5 million guarantee is down to these two players, as we've got $1 million for tonight's winner of the Seminole Hard Rock Poker Open. And here's the flop. Phyllis pulls even further ahead, pairs his ace on the flop.
Omar calls.
1.3 million from each player going into the middle. This pot now over 5 million as we go to the turn. Board pairs. Zaze drawing dead as we're going to head to the river. Phyllis checks. And Omar Zaze bets 1.2 million. Both of these players will be taking home their biggest poker payday ever, whether they come in first or second place.
$1.2.
We now have over 7 million in the middle. Phyllis is ahead with his pair of aces. Does Zaze have the courage to fire one more bullet here on the river? And will it work? Phyllis bet the flop. Zaze bet the turn. And now Zaze is bet enough to put Phyllis all in on the river.
How much did you bet on the turn? 1.2. You got it, Omar?
If Phyllis folds, he's going to be crippled. He'll have just over 3 million left and will be in a huge hole. And Phyllis lays it down.
Don't show it.
And Omar Zaze
King deuce high.
shows Phyllis that one.
Omar was bluffing.
And once again, you can just tell the confidence, the swagger, the momentum. It is all right now
Nice job, buddy.
with Omar Zaze.
Nice job.
When we come back, we continue heads-up play for $1 million.
Oh, I told myself every street, there's no way I'm fooling. Good job, man.
Thanks, bro.
I don't know where the defibrillators are here at Seminole Hard Rock, but Brian Phyllis's chip stack needs some resurrection because it has slid all the way down to just over 3 million in chips. And now with this big of a chip lead, Zaze's got to try to close it out. And if you are Brian Phyllis, you just got to find a spot to get all these chips in the middle. And this might be it. He raises to $500,000 with nines.
All in.
Call.
Deuces for Zaze, and Zaze moves all in. A quick call from Phyllis. And here we go, pocket nines versus pocket deuces for $1 million.
Give us a flop.
All right, only a deuce will eliminate Brian Phyllis, otherwise he's gonna double up.
4-7. Looks like a pretty good board for the nines. For Brian, give us a card. It's a 5, and Brian is going to have 6 million in chips if he can hold off a deuce. There's 2 deuces left in the deck. 42 wins for Brian, 2 wins for Omar. Last card.
And now Phyllis has just over 6 million in chips. We started the hand saying he had to find a spot where he could get all the chips in the middle. And Pocket Fair versus Pocket Pair did exactly that.
I'm trying, bro. I'm trying.
And the Phyllis fans are loving every minute of it.
We're just having fun. We don't care who sees.
So what, we go out.
So what, we go out. That's how it's supposed to be. Living young and wild and free.
Ladies and gentlemen.
All right, now we got it going.
Philip Hellmuth Jr. Tip your bar staff. It's a 2-drink minimum here tonight at the Seminole Hard Rock, Hollywood, Florida. Both players catch a piece of the flop. Zaze's got a pair of 10s, Phyllis with a pair of deuces. The turn pairs the board. $700,000 from Zaze. And a call from Phyllis. $1.1 million from Zaze.
$1.1 million.
And Phyllis calls, and that one hurts. It wasn't a huge pot, but it now seems like all that momentum you had from the double up is now gone, and some of the air is being let out of the building. Well, this is the lowest point that Brian Phyllis has been in this heads-up battle. Omar Zaze has 24.3 million, just 10 big blinds left for Brian Phyllis.
All in.
Zaze moves all in with ace-6 and a call from Brian Phyllis with ace-5 suited. Will this be it? $1 million goes to the winner.
Ace-6 on the flop, baby. Let's go.
For the jack.
Oh boy, things are in terrible shape for Phyllis.
How about a jack?
Don't celebrate yet. I flopped 2 pair, aces and 6s.
All right, so here's the
Come on.
turn.
Jack or a
It
7.
is a 7 of spades.
6 o'clock.
And now there are more chop outs for Phyllis,
6 o'clock.
but it's over. Omar Zaze is your Seminole Hard Rock Poker Open champion and is South Florida's newest millionaire.
Good job, brother. Thanks for the support, bro. Brian, thank you. Brian, you play well, man. Good job. Play well. Good job.
It is the kind of money that can change a life. And there you have it, the final results of the final table of the Big Four at the Seminole Hard Rock Poker Open. Omar Zaze takes it down with Dan Coleman just 2 places away from back-to-back titles. Congratulations to all the players. For more from Poker Night, visit pokernight.com or connect with us on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, or Twitch, where you can see complete episodes and unedited live streams. Also, be sure to check out our online store for all of your Poker Night merchandise. For everyone here at Poker Night in America, I'm Chris Hansen.
Quote Eminem, Omar's back, back again, Omar's back, tell a friend, Omar's back, Omar's back, Omar's back, da 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 da. That's Eminem. I worked on that one too.